Hi, fourth graders. This week we are starting a new theme in our reading books. We are already on theme 4, which means we're over halfway done with our book, which is perfect because we're just about at the halfway point of our school year, with the end of the quarter being on Friday. So our new theme that we are starting today is theme number 4, and it is called Problem Solvers. In your books right now, you should be on page 384 and 385, which is the page that I have up on the screen. So we are going to read 3 stories about problem solvers in our theme, and then wrap up our theme in a few weeks with 2 short problem solver stories. So when you think about what a problem solver is, I want you to kind of think about what are some things that somebody who is a problem solver might do. We're going to turn the page and read a letter from our author about what it is like to be a problem solver. So here I am on page 386 and 387 in our hardcover reading book. Our author, Alma Florada, has written a letter to you, the reader, to be able to be more familiar with what it is like to be a problem solver. So the characters in our stories that we're going to read in this theme all have some problems that come into their lives, and they have to be problem solvers and figure out ways to solve those problems to be able to make sense of the problem and to go on with their life with the problem solved. So here's a letter from our author, Alma Florada. Dear reader, have you ever had a problem? Did it feel as if there was nothing you could do to solve it? Sometimes we get into trouble without meaning to and then don't know how to get out of it. This happens to the main character in my book, My Name is Maria Isabelle. She is frustrated at school and searches for ways to explain her feelings. Telling the truth to ourselves and to others helps solve most problems. Hiding from the truth and pretending nothing is wrong makes problems grow larger. In writing this letter to you, I found myself with a problem. I tried different approaches, but I was never really satisfied. First, I tried remembering being in 4th grade. Then I thought about books with 4th grade characters. Finally, I decided to ask my granddaughter Camille, who is pictured above, to help me list problems 4th graders might have. Some subjects may be hard, she began, and someone may have forgotten to do their homework, or maybe they did not understand and did it wrong. Sometimes, even when you want to listen to the teacher, a friend keeps talking. I asked Camille if she could think of other problems. Having to go to a new school, she replied. Nobody recognizes you. Everyone is looking at you. It's very stressful. Since Camille changed schools last year, I asked her how she faced it. You just have to stay with it and be ready to make new friends, said Camille. It helps if you can still talk to your old friends after school. It's harder if the family has to move far away. That can be really hard on kids. My conversation with Camille helped me to see a new point of view. We identified 2 types of problems, ones we can try to solve ourselves and ones where we must involve others. An example of this second kind of problem would be if parents decided not to live together anymore. We might not be able to change the situation, but we can always make things better by being kind and loving. Thinking about my own problem, I see that I was able to follow these steps. And then she lists some steps for solving problems. So number 1, recognize the problem. I was not satisfied with my writing. Number 2, identify the type of problem. This problem involved just me. Look for solutions. I use my memories and books I have read. Step 4, ask for help. Camille's advice was helpful because she was willing to listen. Also, she is an expert since she is a child. Number 4, make decisions. I decided how to apply what I learned from my conversation with Camille. And number 5, get to work. It is not enough to have ideas. They must be put into action. It feels great once a problem is solved, so next time you have a problem, look at it honestly, telling yourself the truth. If the problem involves your relationships with others, share your feelings with them. I hope sharing my process will help you the next time you think about solving problems. May you always find good solutions. Much love from your author friend, Alma Florada. And Alma Florada is actually the author of the story that we are going to read this week, so the first story in our theme, which is called My Name is Maria Isabelle. So take a look at page 389, and I want you to look at the different books that we are going to be reading throughout this theme over the next few weeks. We are going to be reading today, My Name is Maria Isabelle. Next week, we'll be reading the story Marvin of the Great North Woods. The 3rd week in our theme, we will be reading The Last Dragon. And then the 4th and 5th stories in our theme, the 2 short stories that we have, I forgot about Sing to the Stars. The 4th week in our theme, we'll be reading Sing to the Stars. And the 5th week in our theme, we have 2 short stories, Juan Verdade's The Man Who Could Not Tell a Lie, and a story about Louis Braille. And so on page 389, it says, Alma Florada writes that telling the truth is an important part of solving a problem. Think of a problem you once had. How did being honest help clear the way towards solving your problem? Think about what problems the characters in the selections shown below might have. As you read, ask yourself which of Alma Florada's steps the main characters use as they struggle to overcome their own problems. Can't wait to read some more? No problem. It's time for Problem Solvers. So here's the story that we are going to read this week. It is called My Name is Maria Isabelle. Before we get started reading, let's go over our vocabulary words. So here I am on page 390 and page 391 in your hardcover reading book. We have 4 vocabulary words in our yellow box off to the side: disappointed, understandings, nervously, and troublesome. Before we read the story, we will go over the definitions of those words, along with one other one that you will have to do on your worksheet today. So we actually have 5 vocabulary words for the week, and 4 of them will be found on this page. So remember, we'll use context clues to try to figure out what these highlighted words each mean. New in the neighborhood. No one knows your name or anything else about you. You don't know where things are or how to get from one place to another, and your friends all live far away. What's happened? You've just moved from your old home to a new one. Nowadays, it's common for families to move from one neighborhood, town, or state to another. For a student entering a new school, it can be the most troublesome part of a move. Although you might be disappointed at first by your new school, soon you'll find exciting things there that you hadn't expected. When you first arrive, you might feel like a stranger as you nervously try to make friends. There might be misunderstandings because people do things differently in the new school from what you're used to. But soon you will meet people and get to know your way around. Read My Name is Maria Isabelle to find out how one girl deals with the challenge of being the newest one in school. So here's a list of our vocabulary words, plus that one other one I said that we were going to add to our list, which is the first one today, attentively. So we have the words attentively, disappointed, misunderstanding, nervously, and troublesome. Those are the words we're going to be working with this week that fit into our story. So with attention or alertness means attentively. So if you do something, you're paying attention, you're alert, probably like think of yourself if you're playing in a basketball game or you're at a wrestling match or you're out sledding, you're really paying attention to what you're doing that attentively. Feeling let down because things didn't go as planned. We all know disappointed, right? We all know what it feels like to be disappointed when something isn't the way we wanted it to be. A failure to understand is a misunderstanding, right? When we maybe don't hear our teacher quite right or our parents quite right and we do something that we're not supposed to do, it could be a misunderstanding. With concern or worry is nervously. So if you're nervous about something, and I'm sure we've all been nervous about something in our lives, you have concern or worry. And then the last one, causing problems, is troublesome. So make sure that you're not being a troublesome kid or a troublesome student and causing problems. Let's get started reading our story. So this is page 394 and 395 in your hardcover reading book. Maria Isabelle's family has just moved from one part of the city to another. She has had to switch schools 2 months after the start of the school year. To make matters worse, there are 2 other girls named Maria in her class, so the teacher has decided to call her Mary Lopez instead of Maria Isabel Lopez Salazar. This upsets her, for she is proud of her name, which is made up of names of relatives she loves in Puerto Rico. Because she doesn't realize she is being called on, or when the teacher says Mary Lopez, Maria Isabel has missed the chance to perform in the winter pageant. The winter pageant. Everything at school now revolved around plans for the winter pageant. The class was making wreaths and lanterns. The teacher explained to the class that Christmas is celebrated differently in different countries and that many people don't celebrate Christmas at all. They talked about Santa Claus and how he is called St. Nicholas in some countries and Father Christmas in others. The class also talked about the Jewish feast of Hanukkah that celebrates the rededication of the Temple of Jerusalem and about the special meaning of the 9 candles of the Hanukkah menorah. The teacher had asked everyone to bring in pictures or other things having to do with the holidays. A lot of kids brought in photographs of their families by their Christmas trees. Myra brought in pictures of New Year's Day in Santo Domingo. Michelle brought in a picture of herself sitting on Santa's lap when she was little. Gabriel brought in photos of the 3 Kings Day parade in Miami, Florida. He had been there last year when he went to visit his Cuban grandmother. Marcos brought in a piñata shaped like a green parrot that his uncle had brought back from Mexico. Emmanuel showed everyone a photo album of his family's trip to Israel, and Esther brought in cards her grandfather had sent from Jerusalem. One day, Suni Paz came to the school. She sang Christmas songs from different countries and taught the class to sing a Hanukkah song, The Candles of Hanukkah. Maria Isabel went home humming softly, Hanukkah, Hanukkah, let us celebrate. The bus trip seemed a lot shorter as the song ran through her head. It almost felt as if she had traveled to all those different countries and had celebrated all those different holidays. Maria Isabelle was still singing while she made dinner and set the table. With our menorah, fine potato latkes, our clay trumpets, let us celebrate. Her voice filled the empty kitchen. Maria Isabelle was so pleased she promised herself that she'd make a snowman the next time it snowed, and she'd get it finished before the garbage men picked up the trash and dirtied up the snow. But after Suni Paza's visit to the school, the days seemed to drag by more and more slowly. Maria Isabelle didn't have anything to do during rehearsals since she didn't have a part in Amal. The teacher decided that after the play, the actors would sing some holiday songs, including Maria Isabelle's favorite about the Hanukkah candles. Since she didn't have a part, Maria Isabelle wouldn't be asked to sing either. It didn't seem to matter much to Tony and Jonathan, the other two kids who weren't in the play. They spent rehearsal time reading comics or whispering to each other. Neither boy spoke to Maria Isabelle, and she was too busy to say anything, shy to say anything to them. The only fun she had was reading her library book. Somehow her problem seemed so small compared to Wilbur the pig's. He was in danger of becoming the holiday dinner. Maria Isabelle felt the only difference was that the characters in the books always seemed to find answers to their problems, while she couldn't figure out what to do about her own. As she cut out bells and stars for decorations, Maria Isabelle daydreamed about being a famous singer. Someday she would sing in front of a large audience, and her teacher would feel guilty that she had not let Maria Isabelle sing in the winter pageant. But later Maria Isabelle thought, my teacher isn't so bad. It's all a big misunderstanding. If only there was some way I could let her know. Even if I'm not a great singer someday, it doesn't matter. All I really want is to be myself and not make the teacher angry all the time. I just want to be in the play and to be called Maria Isabelle Salazar Lopez. Trapped in a spider's web. I've asked my boss if I can leave work early the day of the school pageant, Maria Isabelle's mother said one evening as she served the soup. Papa is also going to leave work early. That way we'll be able to bring the rice and beans. And best of all, we can hear Maria Isabelle sing, her father added. Maria Isabelle looked down at her soup. She had not told her parents anything. She knew they were going to be very disappointed when they saw the other kids in her class taking part in the play. She could just hear her mother asking, why didn't you sing? Doesn't the teacher know what a lovely voice you have? Maria Isabelle ate her soup in silence. What could she say? Don't you have anything to say, Chabalita asked her father. Aren't you glad we're coming? Sure, Papa, sure I am, said Maria Isabelle, and she got up to take her empty bowl to the sink. After helping her mother with the dishes, Maria Isabelle went straight to her room. She put on her pajamas and got into bed, but she couldn't sleep, so she turned the light on and continued reading Charlotte's Web. Maria Isabelle felt that she was caught in a sticky, troublesome spider's web of her own, and the more she tried to break loose, the more trapped she became. When the librarian had told her that she would like the book, Maria Isabelle had felt that they were sharing a secret. Now as she turned the pages, she thought that maybe the secret was that everyone has problems. She felt close to poor little Wilbur, being fattened up for Christmas dinner without even knowing it. He was a little like her parents, who were so eager to go to the pageant, not knowing what was waiting for them. It just isn't fair that this can't be a happy time for all of us, Maria Isabelle said out loud. She sighed. Then she turned off the light, snuggled under her blanket, and fell asleep trying to figure out a way to save Wilbur from becoming Christmas dinner. My greatest wish. 2 days were left until the pageant. The morning was cloudy and gray. On the way to school, Maria Isabelle wondered if it was going to snow. Maybe she would be able to make that snowman. But shortly after she got to school, it started to drizzle. Since they couldn't go outside, the students spent their time rehearsing. No one made a mistake. Malchoir didn't forget what he had to say to Amal's mother. Amal dropped his crutch only once. Best of all, though, the shepherds remembered when they were supposed to enter without bumping into the three kings. Even Tony, Jonathan seemed interested in the play. They volunteered to help carry the manger and the shepherds' baskets on and off stage. Satisfied with the final rehearsal, the teacher decided there was time for one last class exercise before vacation. It's been a couple days since we've done some writing, she said when the students returned to class. The new year is a time for wishes. Sometimes wishes come true, sometimes they don't, but it's important to have wishes and most of all to know what you really want. I'd like you all to take out some paper and write an essay titled, My Greatest Wish. Maria Isabelle sighed and put away Charlotte's Web. Charlotte had just died, and Maria wondered what was going to happen to the sack of eggs that Wilbur had saved, and when Charlotte's babies would be born. But Maria Isabelle would have to wait to find out. She bit down on her pencil and wrote, My Greatest Wish. This shouldn't be so hard, Maria Isabelle thought. If I finish writing early, I can probably finish my book. She started to write. My greatest wish is to make a snowman. Maria Isabelle read over what she had just written and realized that it wasn't that what she really wanted. She put the paper aside, took out a new sheet, and wrote down the title again. My greatest wish is to have a part in a mall. Maria Isabelle stopped writing again. She thought, would Charlotte have said that her greatest wish was to save Wilbur? Or would she have wished for something impossible, like living until next spring and getting to know her children? The teacher just said that wishes don't always come true. If I'm going to wish for something, it should be something really worth wishing for. Maria Isabelle took out a third sheet of paper and wrote down the title again. This time, she didn't stop writing until she got to the bottom of the page. My greatest wish. When I started to write, I thought my greatest wish was to make a snowman. Then I thought my greatest wish was to have a part in the winter pageant. But I think my greatest wish is to be called Maria Isabelle Salazar Lopez. When that was my name, I felt proud of being named Maria, like my papa's mother, and Isabelle, like my grandmother Chablia. She's saving money so that I can study and not have to spend my whole life in the kitchen like her. I was Salazar like my papa, my grandpa Antonio, and Lopez like my grandfather Manuel. I never knew him, but he could really tell stories. I know because my mother told me. If I was called Maria Isabelle Salazar Lopez, I could listen better in class because it's easier to hear than Mary Lopez. Then I could have said that I wanted a part in the play. And when the rest of the kids sing, my mother and father wouldn't have to ask me why I didn't sing, even though I like the song about Hanukkah candles so much. The rest of the class had already handed in their essays and were cleaning out their desks to go home when Maria Isabelle got up. She quietly went to the front of the room and put her essay on the teacher's desk. Maria Isabelle didn't look up at the teacher, so she didn't see the woman smiling at her. She hurried back to her desk to get her things and leave. 1 little candle, 2 little candles. Holiday spirit was everywhere at school the next day. The paper wreaths and lanterns the class had made were hung up all over the room. The teacher had put the greatest wish essays up on the bulletin board next to the cutouts of Santa Claus, the 3 kings, and a menorah. All the students were restless. Marta Perez smiled when Maria Isabelle sat down next to her. Look at the pretty Christmas card I got from my cousin in Santo Domingo, she said excitedly. Maria Isabelle looked at the tropical Christmas scene, all trimmed in flowers, but she couldn't answer Maria because the teacher had started to speak. Oh, Marta, sorry. We're going to do one last rehearsal because there's a small change in the program. The rest of the kids listened attentively, but Maria Isabelle just kept looking down at her desk. After all, she had nothing to do with the pageant. Then she heard the teacher say, Maria Isabelle? Maria Isabelle Salazar Lopez. Maria Isabelle looked up in amazement. Would you like to lead the song about the Hanukkah candles? The teacher said with a wide grin. Why don't you start by yourself and then everyone else can join in? Go ahead and start when you're ready. Maria Isabelle walked nervously up to the front of the room and stood next to the teacher who was strumming her guitar. Then she took a deep breath and began to sing her favorite holiday song. While her mother was getting the rice and beans ready that night, Mr. Salazar called Maria Isabelle over to him. Since you can't wear makeup yet, Chabelita, I've brought you something else that I think you'll like. In the palm of his hand were 2 barrettes for her hair. They were shaped like butterflies and gleamed with tiny stones. Oh, Poppy, they're so pretty. Thank you, Maria Isabelle exclaimed. She hugged her father and ran to her room to put them on. At school the next day, Maria Isabelle stood in the center of the stage. She was wearing her special yellow dress, a pair of new shoes, and shining butterflies. She spoke clearly to the audience. My name is Maria Isabelle Salazar Lopez. I am going to sing a song about the Jewish feast of Hanukkah that celebrates the rededication of the temple in Jerusalem. The music started, and Maria Isabelle began to sing. The candles of Hanukkah. 1 little candle, 2 little candles, 3 little candles, let us celebrate. 4 little candles, 5 little candles, 6 little candles, let us celebrate. Hanukkah, Hanukkah, let us celebrate. 7 little candles, 8 little candles, 9 little candles, let us celebrate. Hanukkah, Hanukkah, let us celebrate. With our menorah, fine potato latkes, our clay trumpets, let us celebrate. With our family, with our friends, with our presents, let us celebrate. And the butterflies in Maria Isabelle's hair sparkled under the stage lights so much that it seemed that they might just take off and fly. I hope you enjoyed our story today, 4th graders, and I hope you can see how Maria Isabelle became a problem solver as she thought through her problems throughout the story.